Hi Cancer, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. This is your reading for Cancer Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of July 11th through the 19th. So we're covering a week and a half a bit, almost 10 days in terms of transits. And I'm doing this reading, I usually don't do weeklies as you guys know. But I'm doing this because the next set of transits are pretty spectacular and I want you to be aware of them so that you can consciously use them to your benefit. These kinds of transits allow you to, this is how astrology really works. When you're aware of certain transits, then you can be self-aware, grounded, and then interact with the energy accordingly, whatever it is, right? So it's not so much about you, it's really about understanding the environment around you. So I did 2 videos about this already. One is all signs, which covers the astrology in general, but doesn't give you enough detail for each individual sign. I thought I could get away with it. And then the second one is the love reading for the rest of the year, which is so focused on love that it doesn't give me an opportunity to walk you through it. And so I thought I would do that today. Both of those readings are linked up here, and in the comments I'm putting them in. So the title of your reading is Your Joy, Their Jealousy. And it's really what the title suggests. It's based on the astrology and my assumption that the happier you are, the more you trigger people, the more loving you are. Cancer is like an extreme loving frequency, the more you trigger people. And so be wary of that and don't allow other people to shame you with their jealousy, right? What you speak and you're pure of heart and enjoying in the moment, it's almost like, I'm holding this heart. It's a moonstone. And I love it. And somebody's sitting next to me and wants to nab it because I'm so happy to be holding it. So this is a similar frequency to your energy now. But let's pick 5 Lenormand cards just to see an intro. So we have the Rider. It's really bright. The sun is right in front of me, so that's okay. Sun is good. The Moon. Okay. And then I have the Dog. So I made these Lenormand cards. They're out of print for now, but they have extra meanings in them. So far, we don't have one, but this is just standard Lenormand. Then we have the Birds. Scorpio got this too. Oh, look, I'm gossiping, but you can watch their reading. And then the Fish. Okay, good. Very good. Success at work. Now, Chiron's going retrograde in your 10th house. I'll show you in a minute. But that has a lot to do with career. Friend. I think through a network of people, you're finding your way through something. Somebody just approached you very recently with a very good frequency, very good energy. There's going to be several grand trines this week. And they're all a lot to do with love and romance, and can be. I'll show you in a minute. So if you've met somebody recently, pay attention to them. They might be somebody who you want to get to know better if you're single. I think somebody approached you with a very good energy. They like you. They like your energy. They like what you're about. And I think that through friends you're finding work, or you hear through friends about a job opportunity you should pursue. So this is pretty big news. Now your 11th house is lit with Uranus. Let me show you now so we can look at the astrology together. So this is your 11th house of luck and networks and friends. And so Uranus is here. I like Uranus in the 11th house. Well, Uranus rules the 11th house in the sign of Aquarius in a standard chart. Your 11th house is ruled by Taurus. And so Uranus is in Taurus in your 11th house. You're hearing something through people about a job opportunity, or you hear something about a job through friends. This is all good energy. See, this is how birds can be like gossip or not positive card. It means gossip. But it can also mean communication through people. So I think you're about to hear something very important. So let's go through the transits. I'll tell you why I'm here. And first, let's focus on why you're getting the reading today. So I'm scheduling your video for the 12th. And so there's a reason for this. I usually go random, but this week, because some of the transits will pass by the time I'm allowed to post the reading, I'm posting your readings first so you know the energy, so the maximum amount of people can pay attention. But we have a conjunction between Mars and Venus in Leo. I'm actually filming when the moon is with Mars and Venus in Leo. That's an activation point here on the 11th, but you're going to get your video on the 12th. This is in your second house of money. There we go. It's all lit up. And this conjunction will lead to a second conjunction in Capricorn and a third conjunction in Aquarius in February and March of 2022. So don't expect everything to just pop at once. Well, something might pop. You might hear a rumor or some kind of important information, a positive rumor about job opportunities. But give it up to 6 months for whatever comes through at this time to fully grow into itself, from an idea to a concept. Something might be motivating you for you to build something out with possibly friends. The dog is a friend card. So build up a career or build up a company with friends. But it might take up to 6 months for that to happen. So you hear an opportunity and then you sort of take steps for it. It leads you in this direction. This conjunction, as I said, happens on the 13th and is activated by the moon on the 11th. And if you missed this video on the 11th, which all of you did, it's not so much, well, it's a transit for us all, but it's less focused on your sign. But look back on the 11th. It's not, you're not going to change anything by hearing it before. But on the 11th, you may have come across some insight or came to some realization about financial matters in your life. And that sort of gave you perspective on which way to go, and maybe gave you momentum to dislodge yourself from something that you're gaining material gains from now, in order to risk it so that you can gain material possessions through some more autonomous route. Okay, very good message. So the second transit that's very, very important this week is the North Node with Aldebaran, the star. I switched the node, so this is actually the true node, not the mean node that I usually read with. And so the true node is conjunct Aldebaran on the 15th, and that's very exciting, in Gemini in your 12th house. At the same time, Chiron in your 10th house of career goes retrograde. So station on the 15th, retrograde on the 16th. And these 2 points are actually on a sextile. And so the sextile in some ways opening you up. I think this is more a reinforcement of the idea. I didn't understand where the idea of self-sustaining business was coming out. It feels like you're an entrepreneur doing your own thing, because these transits in themselves, they speak of partnership, sure, but I get a much more autonomous energy from you, Cancer. But this transit, this is you from the subconscious, knowing it's time for you to step out into the world in a new phase, new career, new persona, just ready to take it on. When Chiron goes retrograde in Aries, that gives us, Chiron in Aries affects our self-esteem and everything that's caused it to be such. And so when it goes retrograde in your house of career, all the inhibiting factors of self-esteem that prevent you from going after what you want are lessened. And if you have high self-esteem, then there's some kind of psychological factor that's playing here. Now, if your sun or moon Cancer and people told you just to watch for your rising sign, I don't agree with that. I think this reading is phenomenal for Cancer Sun and very informative for Cancer Moon. So watch it. And if it doesn't work for you, by all means, everybody's chart is different. Everybody's needs are different. But don't be discouraged by people saying stuff like that, okay? And so it's just people being authoritative. Okay. So Cancers of all shapes and sizes can really look forward to this transit of self-confidence, increased self-confidence in the world, and being prepared to take a step forward in a public space in some way. So that's your fire and air transits. It has a lot to do with ideas and perspectives and like vision of who you are. For you, the North Node is in the 12th house. It's the most subconscious placement for the North Node. And this powerful transit only happens once every 18 years. In your 12th house, listen, externally, it may not be so dramatic, but internally, this is the real energy. So from an internal place, there's a massive transformation for you here. So don't let it pass you by. It's a really nice energy. He'll be with us all of July, exact on the 15th of July. So those are the two like fire, air transits. Let me show you the moon before we carry on. It's kind of a hard set of astrology transits to explain because they have different frequencies or different aspects to them. The moon starts in Leo, conjunct Mars and Venus at the time of filming. Then on Tuesday, it moves into Virgo. And on Thursday, it moves into Libra. We'll talk about that next. And then finally, on Saturday and Sunday, the moon moves into Scorpio. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I want to talk about moon in Libra because that's when it's going to oppose your Chiron. You're going to connect why things are like the way they are for your public life, your interaction outside the home, based on what kind of experiences you had in the home during this transit, the 16th of July. So look to why you're strong outside, why you act the way you act, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what motivated you in the home to be that way. Strict parents, parents that were very easygoing. Which one is it? Okay, so that's a nice transit. And with that, the aspect of this week's transits that have to do with like our cognitive abilities, self-perception, and ideas of where we're going, that's the main ones. So now let's talk about the water transits. And for you, the water transits are intense, and that's why you're up on the list of readings. So Mercury moves into Cancer on the 11th at the time of filming. This is good for you. You're going to be understood and you're going to be well received. Mercury creates a trine to Jupiter in your 9th house of ideas. This is a great time to put words to what you desire. Tell people what you want and what you need. Tell the world what you want and what you need. Jupiter will help you attain it. Then we have the Sun in Cancer forming a trine to Neptune. This really starts on the 15th, but is around all week. Again, imagination, creativity, informing our day-to-day lives. So we have both trines, Neptune and Sun, Mercury and Jupiter, really inspiring you at this time in your first house of personality. It's really allowing your personality to shine through. And I think that Chiron retrograde gives you even more strength in your character so people can see that. There's no shyness here. Not with these transits. And then, of course, the transits between the Sun and Neptune, it's a very dreamy. You could literally tell people what you're like without actually like being like, you can suddenly slip and tell them personal things. You're like Alice in Wonderland sort of energy, but kind of you're still here with us, right? But you're in a dreamy state. So very creative, all of you creative Cancers out there, you better make some beautiful art this week. It's going to be a very nice energy. So I mentioned before that the moon finishes up in Scorpio this week on the 17th and 18th. And when it does, it starts forming aspects to Mercury and Jupiter, creating a very loose grand trine, and then to Neptune and the Sun, creating a very much more tight grand trine in water. So that's your frequency. And these grand trines happen, the Mercury-Jupiter one happens on the 17th, and the Sun-Neptune one happens next week on the 19th. And so next weekend, 17th and 18th, have a frequency of great emotional passion coming through. Now, as I mentioned before, Mercury and Jupiter and Neptune and Sun start forming these transits early on in the week. So there's going to be a buildup of emotions for you through the entire week, and then they're going to culminate on the 17th and 18th. So if you have placements specifically at the beginning of Cancer, if you're a cusper, or if you have placements at the end of Cancer, those are the placements that are going to be the most emotional. And when I say emotional, because that can mean a lot of things, you're going to feel fulfilled, warm. It's just a very nice energy. So yes, be excited about it. It's like expansion of the heart. So that happens with the Scorpio moon on the 17th and 18th in your 5th house. This is also very romantic. So if you're here looking for messages about love, this can really open you up and be less reserved with regard to romance, particularly those of you who are single, who are shy, or people who are single and shy, people who are meeting someone and shy to show who they are. You might actually show a lot of who you are to people at this time in a good way. So now I want to highlight some of the challenging transits. There's 2. So if you get triggered by this, please jump ahead to when I do the tarot reading. But I do want to mention them because they're important. And if you can stomach it, I encourage you to sit, because it has to do with these water trines. So you might want to be aware of it. So there's this opening energy of the water trines that make us feel comfortable, warm, and inviting. However, the Sun is at 23 degrees of Cancer by about the 17th. 25 degrees, and then it opposes Pluto. So we know Pluto in the 7th house is our hardest transit. And so when this happens, is especially within relationships or any kind of partnership, if you're getting pushed down by your circumstances, you may in some way have an outburst. You may in some way confront the energy that is suppressing you. Now that sounds like, oh, you're having an outburst, watch your temper. Yeah, that's a part of it. But the Sun opposite Pluto happens once a year. And I think that for you, it's very important to be aware that, how do I say this? It might free you up from something. It's like a necessary evil that must happen. So through this transit, if you're getting frustrated, this is mostly to do with things that are suppressed. If you're not in some way confronting an issue, or if you've been shushed by the despot in your life, the tyrant in your life has been silencing you, and the pressure is building, when the Sun transits across Pluto, Sun's going to tell Pluto exactly what's up. So you need to be mindful of this energy, because through this time you're highly emotional and open, right? And so you don't want to say things that you will regret, but yet you still want to stand up for yourself. So it's a great transit for standing up for yourself, but it could go overboard if you're not wary. And there's another reason that people need to be worried about going overboard. Lilith is moving from Taurus into Gemini. And so this transit happens on the 18th of July. And so when this happens, I think that you're going to see a lot of things happen, turn to shift below the surface. So here is an example scenario. you tell someone off because they're being a tyrant, because they're being a bully. You know what could happen through this time? Whatever you've said or done could be taken underground, behind the scenes. Gossip energy, right? So you want to be very careful at this time, because when Lilith is in your 12th house, gossip is a tough one because it's the hidden enemy. So you could have someone who is working against you, and be very careful also of telling personal things to people you don't fully trust, because with this transit of Lilith, there could be backstabbing going on for you for the next 10 months. This transit lasts 10 months from July until April 2022. And as you see, I don't have Lilith on the chart. The reason for this is that the intense transits of Lilith that started in Scorpio and continued through Taurus are sort of over for now. And so a lot of the harsh transits were her joining Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and so forth as she was transiting through the years. And in Gemini, it becomes much more alleviated. So it's much less intense than it's been on the negative front of Lilith. But I think that you need to be aware that be mindful of who you're talking to and how, and especially this open-heartedness energy. And I'm having the same conversation with all the water signs. This open-hearted energy, be wary of it, because when people see our kindness, when people see our love and open heart, people respond well to that. That's a good thing to be. However, people who have issues, people who have emotionally violent or whatever other type of malaligned behavior, antisocial behavior that they have going on, they can get triggered by these things, and then in your exuberance and your joy, you could trigger their jealousy and they could lash out. Narcissists, for example, they hate people being happy, truly happy, because they can never be. So be wary of how you share, how you show your joy in what environment. And what came up from the reading so far is be wary of public spaces to do with work. Just be, so when you're really happy about something and you're feeling open and warm and inviting, show that to people. That's your grace. But also at the same time, be wary of showing it, of the environment you're showing it in. So I have this dice that I'm using to isolate a house in the chart to bring attention to, and I went straight to the 12th house. So be careful, and especially with the North Node here. The North Node will be in Gemini until December. You could be moving towards some goal, and someone could secretly be begrudging your good energy or your good fortune. So I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to help you avoid a problem. So enjoy your joy, enjoy your happiness. And then enjoy your happiness, but be wary of the way that you share it with others, because some people out there don't like happy people. Some people out there get jealous and will want to attack you for being happy. So just mind your exuberance, mind your joy. Okay, so here's your cards. We have the 7 of Swords, and I'm going to just put them down because of time. And then we have the 3 of Wands, and then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Very nice cards to the beginning. Let's see the next message. Somebody's waiting for you. 9 of Swords. Somebody's waiting for you. Maybe you're waiting for someone. There you are, Cancer, right in the center. The Chariot is your card. And then we have the 6 of Pentacles. This is showing up for everyone. And I don't want to discourage you from being open to people, because being open to people is how we find people. You're showing them your character, your energy. So you don't want to hide the fact that you're happy. It's just you want to be a little mindful of who you're showing that to. Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in air. Look at you, Venus and Cancer. 2 of Cups and 9 of Pentacles. Wow, beautiful cards. So I think Cancer, in short, you're going places. I think you're having a good energy. We have the King of Swords on the bottom, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. People like to fit us into their box, right? And they want us to conform to their ideas. And, in terms of triggering, we talked about narcissists, but it could also be somebody who's gripping to their own version of reality desperately. And so your happiness can challenge that. So be wary of challenging other people's narratives. When you have an extreme emotion like joy or happiness, people who are not comfortable with that, who are dealing with issues, may become uncomfortable and even aggressive towards people showing that. Imagine being a person who never experiences happiness or joy, being around someone who's really happy. It can be very saddening or triggering for a person like that. And if they have bad behavioral patterns around that, then they can get mean. And with Lilith, it's a channeled energy, so it comes through us and so makes us feel mean at times if we're not on top of it, if we're not controlling it. Okay, so I see a love connection between you and someone else. It could be an earth sign, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. I'm looking in the chart. With the opposition between the sun and Pluto, since we're here, you're the sun and they're Pluto. You could have a powerful connection between two people with that. Usually it has a power dynamic to it. It's like, screw you, Pluto, sun is feisty, right? Screw you, Pluto, get in your lane. Stop bullying my child, my energetic child. But sometimes it can be two people that are drawn together, sun and Pluto, seeing each other and finding beauty. This is also something that you might notice. Somebody is admiring you, and you might not know it, and you might not know it by the end of the week yet. So give it some time. This could be definitely someone looking at you and saying, wow, that Cancer person sure is beautiful. So don't hide your joy. It makes you beautiful. It makes you great. I feel as though there's someone who's avoiding something, someone who's uncomfortable with something, and somebody who's waiting for them to figure it out. Okay, so we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords. Somebody is uncomfortable, and there's been an ongoing process of people around them are waiting for them to figure things out, but this person is constantly being evasive. And I don't think I think it's a personal problem that this person has. And I think that they want things to work out, but it's always on top of them. There's always a challenge to that desire of things working out. I think that in a situation in which there's a lot of stress, the Nine of Swords, and this is mostly to do with the past, there will be finally a resolution. And I'm happy to see this. So there's going to be finally a resolution and generosity in a situation that has a lot of stress. I'm guessing the stress has to do with finances, right? So somebody's been struggling a lot with certain emotions. They've been anxiety, fear, anticipation, dread. The Chariot card is overcoming. And actually the Chariot card in the center, beyond the fact that it represents your sign, signifies that this is a big week of overcoming things for you. The Grand Trine energy is powerful, right? Let's talk about it a little bit more. So we have the 5th house, romance, heart's desire, it's the heart center. The 9th house, the mind, and the 1st house. It's a powerful Grand Trine for you. And so something from within you is clicking in. Problems are resolving. Joy is flooding in. And so things are getting aligned. And so problems that were unsolvable become solvable. Hello to my Slavs out there. Slavable. Sorry, guys. Okay, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles. I've been trying to be professional with everyone, and then somewhere in there just makes me laugh. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles. It really feels as though somebody is reaching out in love here. I don't want to project into that more than that because it looks so lovely. It looks like admiration or reaching out. But the Knight of Pentacles sure does like what he sees, right? The the Knight of Pentacles sees the Nine of Pentacles. Venus in Virgo is like, wow, this person is special. Somebody is giving someone something as well. So very generous week, a lot of prosperity. If you're having a problem, I would anticipate that the problem's going to get resolved with fair ease. People are going to go your way and be supportive. Okay? So let's find out what signs are important for you this week. I have 3 dice. So this is just 3 signs, Sun, Moon, and Rising, who may be influential for you at this time. We have Libra. And this is the first time I'm really doing this a lot. So why don't you guys tell me how you like it? It was Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let me know how you like this part. And then Virgo. Okay. Virgo, Scorpio, and Libra. So those types of people are important in your life at this time. And there's that grand trine with Scorpio. If you have a Scorpio girlfriend or boyfriend, things are really hitting it off. So good luck with that. It's in your 5th house of romance, like we said. Anyway, have a nice week. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to make the energy real. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.